Namaskar. I am Dr. Hema Divakar. Today, the 10th of March, for the first time in the country, the Diabetes Association in India has declared the 10th of March as the GDM Day. GDM expands as Gestational Diabetes Mellitus. That is, the pregnancies which are affected with high blood sugars or diabetes, which is, of course, a temporary condition in pregnancy. But we want to emphasize that the care for this issue has to be taken even before and beyond the pregnancies. Before pregnancies, because young adolescent girls are now getting obese and their lifestyle is changing, and more of them are affected with problems like PCOS, and many of them potentially, when they grow into the reproductive age group, can land into the problem of gestational diabetes. India has the largest number of gestational diabetics in the world. In fact, the adult diabetes or the type 2 diabetes, China ranks first with 100 million. India is close there at 70 million, and US and other regions are way below 30 million. So India is likely to be heading to be the diabetic capital of the world. And dear friends, you recognize that 50% of these adult diabetics are women, which means half of them in their pregnancies a couple of years ago would have had gestational diabetes. And if you prevent the adolescent age group, the pregnancy age group, most of them may not have turned into the adult diabetes. So the mission is one mission and one voice. We need to educate everybody that in her journey through the ages, an young adolescent, a girl of the childbearing age group, and when she moves beyond the 35 years or the menopausal age, at all points in time, we need to prevent, change the lifestyle, early diagnosis and appropriate management right across the breadth and length of the country. And it is our mission not to allow India to become the diabetic capital of the world. So 10th of March is very symbolic because a pioneer of work on pregnancy diabetes in India, Dr. Sheshaya, this marks his birthday as well. Last 30 years, the World Diabetic Foundation, Dr. Anil Kapoor and group have also been working on it. The FIGO, which is the International Association of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, has also established a special working group to tackle this issue, and we feel that public awareness and awareness amidst the doctors themselves is crucial and a very major step in limiting the number of diabetics in the generation next. Her BMI or the weight-height ratio is in the range less than about 25 to 28. That's the first thing. So her diet and exercise pattern should be a change in lifestyle even before the pregnancy, and she has to take certain vitamins like folic acid and B12 so that malformations in the baby are avoided. Early in pregnancy and also in mid-pregnancy, she has to have what is called a glucose challenge test, which will prove or disprove whether she is 1 out of 5 pregnant women who gets into this problem of gestational diabetes or not. So this test has to be done on every single pregnant woman. It's universally offered to everybody in the country. Once she is diagnosed to be a gestational diabetes case, then she has to pay utmost attention to her diet, exercises, sugar values. She may have to come to the doctor's chamber more often than not. We have to track the growth of the baby, and there are certain issues in and around the delivery time, after which the baby has to be had special care because the baby can also be in trouble. And further, everything is not over after the delivery. The diabetes may temporarily disappear only to resurface back in the next 5 to 10 years. So every year she must come again for a blood sugar checkup, and she must see to it that her child does not become a case of childhood obesity and early adulthood diabetes. So it is a continuum of care really before and beyond pregnancy, and there are special DIP clinics or diabetes in pregnancy clinics established in few parts of India to offer a focused and special care both to the mother and the child.
So from a women's health point of view, focusing on screening for gestational diabetes is extremely critical, because Dr. Hema said it impacts 2 generations. I say it impacts 3 generations. And you might have heard the story that in the past, if the grandfather got diabetes at 65, The father gets it at 50, and then the grandchild starts getting it at 40. It is because of risk behavior, the shared risk behavior in the family. And we saw a classical example of the three ladies sharing the same kind of risk approach to their life. And this is precisely what is happening. But in the case of a woman, there's another element to it, and that is the baby in the womb actually is getting messages of what kind of environment he or she will grow up in the future. And the organs are being developed to be able to cope with that future. And if there is a mismatch between that development and what the future is, then we see a huge increase in diabetes. In the past, we have witnessed that we had a lot of undernutrition in our community, and women in India particularly face a double burden. So women are either undernourished, or women in the urban areas are becoming overweight. And both of these, women that are undernourished and women that are overweight, babies born to them in the future have increased risk. We just finished a study in Tamil Nadu where we found that if a woman during pregnancy gives a history of a mother having diabetes, her chances of developing gestational diabetes are 3 times higher. And the likely cause for this is that her mother may have had gestational diabetes which was not detected. So she was programmed for that. And when she gets programmed, when she gets gestational diabetes, the baby, the girl child there gets programmed for future. So it is a life cycle that goes on, and we have to break this chain. And the only way to break this chain is to ensure that we give good attention, not good, but we give excellent attention to the health of our mothers.